is Northeast Michigan's best news source. You're waking up to WBKB Early Morning, your first look at news, weather, and sports. This is Early Morning.
A house fire broke out last night on US 23 North. Plus, concerns have been raised over four-wheel drive vehicles on designated snowmobile trails. And ACC, Alpena High School, and ARMC are joining forces to raise breast cancer awareness. Good morning and thanks for joining us this Friday morning. I'm Ashley Reed. For a first look at the weather, let's turn it over to meteorologist Adam Claiborne. Adam?
Well, good morning to all of you out there. And if you just think back, maybe about a few days ago, how temperatures, they didn't even get up to this degree for 10 for afternoon highs. We started off so chilly this week, but temperatures have moderated since then. And, well, we're seeing mostly cloudy conditions. South winds are at 6 miles per hour. And as we head throughout the day, we're probably going to be noticing maybe a few more snow showers and snow flurries throughout the region. As we take a look at our current satellite and radar, it's starting to come in. We'll see it move in from the west, and we'll see actually some of these snow showers enhance a little bit. So expect some light snow flurries, light snow showers. Not going to really be expecting that much at all, maybe just a dusting. But as we take a look at our day planner, high today will be at 22 degrees, seeing more of the snow during the afternoon. And then by tonight's forecast, snow continues to linger on. Temperatures, they will drop back down in the single digits, but only the upper single digits here in Alpena. And we will continue to see the light snow flurries / snow showers throughout the weekend.
Thanks, Adam. A house fire broke out last night on US 23 North. Homeowner Travis O'Connor told WBKB that he received a 911 call at work that flames were seen coming from the side of his home. A passerby noticed the house in flames and tried to extinguish them himself. Captain Kevin Reamer of the Township Fire Department said he did a pretty good job. The fire was the result of a space heater being used to heat frozen pipelines.
Upon our arrival, there was still quite a bit of smoke and some flames starting to still come back out of the residence. We went ahead and knocked the fire down and cut into the wall to investigate from the outside and the inside.
The fire was kept contained in a small area of the house near the washer and dryer. Reamer says there was minimal damage to the inside and outside. The majority of it was to the exterior wall. 4 Rogers City residents were sentenced this week on federal fraud charges. U.S. Attorney Barbara McQuaid announced that Monday the 4 individuals, Robert Pakmara, Maxine Pakmara, Gary Wilson, and Sue Wilson, were sentenced this Monday for their roles in a conspiracy to defraud the government. Evidence presented in court showed during the years of 1998 through 2009, the 2 parties owned GW and SW Inc., where Gary Wilson and Robert Pakmara worked as co-managers and salesmen in the store, while Sue Wilson served as the bookkeeper. During this time, the Wilsons paid Robert for his work at the store with weekly paychecks made payable to his wife so he would be able to continue receiving his retirement pension. The U.S. Railroad Retirement Board requires all who are receiving disability benefits to report any work or compensation received annually to the board.
You know, you have a lack of resources to be able to tackle all these things. So that's why, say, well, how did this thing go on for so long? It's because, we don't monitor everybody. There's, 400 and something thousand people who are retired, and we don't have the resources to do it. And the board, in our opinion, the board would obviously differ with us, that they don't do enough to, follow up with these people to make sure that they are really occupationally disabled.
The scheme went on for an 11-year period. After both pleading guilty to fraud charges, Robert and his wife Maxine were sentenced to 33 months and 24 months in jail respectively. Both will also be responsible for paying $325,550 each in restitution to the retirement board. The Wilsons were found guilty last May and were sentenced to serve over 2 years in prison in order to pay over $200,000 in restitution. This winter, concerns have been raised over the safety of some designated snowmobile trails. Recently, a gray Jeep Cherokee and a white Chevy S10 have been seen on trails where such traffic is prohibited. Arlen Wallace, president of the Alpena Snowdrifters Snowmobile Club, says there are 2 main issues with four-wheel drive vehicles on the trails, both concerning safety. He said with such narrow trails, a collision could easily occur or a snowmobile could hit a deep rut, causing the driver to lose control. He also noted that the snowmobile trails have been used frequently this year due to the amount of snow the city has seen. He doesn't want the unsafe trails to deter out-of-town visitors from using the trails.
With the trucks on the trails or vehicles and the ruts, that's not really conducive to inviting people to come use our trails either. So if they see those, they might have a negative impression.
Volunteers from the Snowmobile Club spend 30 to 40 hours a week working to maintain the trails, and extra grooming takes away volunteers' time and money. The two main problem areas are Indian Reserve Trail and Devil's Lake Trail. If you see a prohibited vehicle on a snowmobile trail, the DNR is asking you to report it. Be sure to include a good description of the vehicle along with the license plate number. Community members and athletes will soon be sporting pink for the 4th annual Hoops for Hope event. Hoops for Hope is a series of basketball games held in Alpena to spread the awareness of breast cancer. All proceeds from the event will benefit the ARMC Mammography Subsidy Fund. Ann Diamond, Development Director at ARMC, said early detection is key for cancer survival, and this event is a great way to raise awareness.
It's just fun to be able to host an event like that and also support the kids that are playing basketball and just have a fun time. So it's just a great event, and I hope everybody can come out for it.
The first Pink Out game will be held Wednesday, February 5th when the ACC Lady Lumberjacks host Delta College at 7:30 p.m., followed by AHS varsity games later in the month. The 2014 Hoops for Hope t-shirts can be purchased for a minimum donation of $10 at the ACC Bookstore, AHS Campus Closet, or the ARMC Development Department. Over the past 3 years, the Hoops for Hope event has raised $23,000. Event coordinator Mike Colleen will join me here on the morning show next Wednesday to go more in depth about this 4th annual event. And business leaders filled Alpena High School yesterday as part of the school's Career and Dress for Success Day. Students went from classroom to classroom, getting to interact with more than 45 different presenters from the business community. The goal of the day was to inform students what they need to do academically and personally to get a successful job. Presenters were from all areas of the community, WBKB's own Lindsay Idaluca included. They discussed education, career paths, employment opportunities, and what their daily jobs entailed.
It's important for the kids because they need to understand that high school is a stepping stone. You can start here, but then make the decision, where do I want to go? Some kids have a really good idea of where they want to be as a career goal, and others are still, feeling around. So this was an excellent opportunity for them to see the different careers that are out there.
Copping says the first Career and Dress for Success Day was an overwhelming success. Alpena High School hopes to continue the Career Day and make it even bigger next year. When WBKB Early Morning returns, Roxanne McConnell from Bay Athletic Club is joining us. She'll tell you how you can live healthy even with a busy schedule. Well, I'm joined this morning by Roxanne McConnell from Bay Athletic Club, and she is here to tell us a little bit more about how to incorporate healthy living and exercise into an already busy life. Good morning, Roxanne.
Well, good morning, Ashley.
Thanks for joining us this morning. I guess I want to start off by people feel that they don't have time, I guess, to fit into when you have a job and you have kids and you have everything else going on. Tell me, how much time does it really take to get healthy?
Well, gosh, you know what? That's a great question. And I think it's one that a lot of people ask, and it's one that a lot of people use as an excuse to not incorporate healthy living into their life. And honestly, for myself and for people that come to Bay Athletic Club and people that I've met, 30 minutes a day of focusing on exercise and getting yourself moving is really all it takes to make some changes toward a healthier lifestyle.
Okay, and 30 minutes, really, everyone can find time to squeeze in 30 minutes. I guess you just have to have the motivation to do it. And you are a prime example yourself. I know that after having your 2 boys, you wanted to get fit again. So tell me a little bit more about that journey and how you squeezed it in with your busy schedule.
Sure, yeah, we're coming up on almost 3 years ago when I had my second son. And with that pregnancy, I gained 60 pounds in 9 months. And so after having Rylan, and now I have 2 boys, a busy life, having to go back to work full time, and not at a place where I wanted to be and comfortable in my own skin. And so recognizing that I needed to do something and I needed to make a change, and starting to take the small steps moving forward to be able to do that. And as of today, I've taken off 75 pounds.
That's awesome.
And continue to push forward and live that healthy lifestyle.
That's fabulous. And was it easy to continue living that lifestyle after you got into the swing of things?
I'd love to tell you it's easy. No, nothing is ever easy. Nothing worth it is ever easy. But I know that for me, it leads to, more energy, and I'm more present for my kids. I feel more comfortable in my own skin. I have more confidence, and I'm not tired all the time. So, to truly enjoy the life with my family and with my boys, then that's part of what I have to do.
So it takes work, but completely worth it.
Absolutely, as anything.
Okay, and then you mentioned how it doesn't have to be all or nothing. What do you mean when you say that?
Well, so often people, when they begin a health or fitness kind of a journey, they kind of get this all or nothing mindset. And I was there. I had it as well, where you think that it has to be all 100% perfect. And the minute that you mess up or slip up or, come on, we're all human, and make a poor choice as far as health or not get your workout in, then oftentimes that's the reason people quit. And so they think that it has to be all the time and everything, and if you can't do it, then you can't do it at all. And that's not true at all. Looking at 30 minutes a day of exercise and being able to factor in some healthy nutrition and making small changes are going to get you where you need to go.
Okay, and I think getting started and then staying motivated is another big thing, but I think it's a lot easier for people, at least with what I've seen, to get started, especially it's January with the new year, New Year's resolutions. A lot of people say, hey, it's time for me to get fit, I'm going to do it, but how do you stick with it once you get started?
Yeah, I think it's also, just like starting anything new, you're excited, you're interested in it, you're learning about it, and you get going, and then you hit about week 3. And for some people, maybe it's month 3. And the newness wears off, and you begin to think, gosh, you know what, this is getting real. And this is hard work. And for me, it's about finding accountability, about finding other people, making a date, putting it in my schedule, and making it a priority. And if I don't make it a priority, it's so easy for it to slip to the bottom. And you say, I'll do it tomorrow. But with living a healthy lifestyle, it's something that just is something you have to do every single day.
Okay, and then real quick before you go, I want to touch on nutrition too. How do you need to add in nutrition with the exercise? Because obviously it's not just about exercise.
It isn't about exercise. Nutrition is going to play at least 70 to 80% of the part in weight loss.
That's a big number.
Huge number, and I think it's one that people don't know,
right.
And so I'm so glad I get to talk to you today and hopefully share that with others. And it's something, small changes. So maybe it's having some water instead of a pop. It is, when you think fast food, start thinking fruits and vegetables and things in the produce section versus the drive-through. Right. And starting to make those small changes consistently over time is going to get you exactly where you want to go.
Perfect. Okay, so just get started, little changes, and then work your way, build up. And
find some accountability.
There you go.
Find somebody who's going to make sure that you're doing it along the way.
All right. Well, thank you, Roxanne, for all of your insight. And for those of you watching, you can tune in again next Friday morning for another Fitness Friday.
Back in December, the Alpena boys basketball team lost by 2 points against TC Central. Since then, the Wildcats have been perfect, winning their last 6 games. Last night, they were at home against the Trojans, looking to extend their winning streak while also getting some sweet revenge. 2 minutes into the game, Cody Tucker assists Annie Marwe to bring the Cats within 3. We'll see that duo a little bit later, but first it's Central's Max Knobloch dropping the backhanded deuce, giving the Trojans a 5-point lead before Marwe, I told you he was coming back, connects with Tucker this time. The Wildcats end quarter 1 down 2. Coming out of the gate hot in the second quarter is Tyler Pintar. He finishes the first half with 15 points, helping Alpena top Central 59-44 in the Wildcats' 7th straight win. In girls action, it was a family affair during the JV match at Posen as Kimmy Hinska and the Vikings fell short to Mayo and her father, Joe Brio. But Posen varsity was making up for it as Ashley Myers finds Corinne Hinska to put the Vikings up 6. And Posen owning on defense as well. Jenna Hinska with the theft and the feed to Angelica Patterson, continuing the Vikings' 15-0 run. 6 minutes into the game, Mayo's leading scorer Leslie Osman putting her Thunderbolts finally on the board with 2 of her 9. before Jalen DeFlorio shows her rebounding skills to cut her team's deficit. Popozen was just 2 on point last night. The Vikings win their 13th straight and last night's 69-29 victory. Other North Star League teams in action last night were Alcona and Hale. The Tigers won their 9th consecutive game in the 71-27 final, while up in Rogers City, Fernanda Amorim Fenelon got her first American baskets in the Hurons' win against the Huskies. Augrey Sims beat Whittemore Prescott 46-25. Emily Jo Wright led all scorers with 18 in the Wolverines' 6th win this season. West on M32, Hillman fell in the final quarter to Fairview. Jensen Chorzinski led all scorers with 20 in the Tigers' 56-50 loss to the Eagles. Down at Aranac Eastern, the Eagles topped the Owls 60-14. Chantal Murdoch ended with 23 and Brooke Shute had 14. While the Lady Braves also fell last night, Jenna Sosek led Tawas with 13 points. 56-34 was the final there. And finally, in Onaway, the Cardinals hosted number 4 ranked Snowbirds. 43-31 Gaylord St. Mary would be the end result. Erica Price had 17. And the high schoolers weren't the only ones hoping to continue winning streaks last night. Michigan hosting Purdue, looking for win number 10. Start of the game, Glenn Robinson III making it rain on the Boilermakers, giving the Wolverines an 8-point lead. Off the turnover 10 minutes later, Rodney Johnson gives Purdue the 1-up. But as the first winds down, Derek Walton Jr. capitalizes on this steal. 37-29 is the score at the break. Wolverines up 13 halfway through the second. John Horford, 1-2 jumper. Michigan improves to 16-4 and remains undefeated in the Big Ten. 75-66 was the final. Alpena finally got a junior hockey team this year after the Thunder left in 2011. However, the smooth transition has taken a turn this past week when both Eric Peterson and Lori Saya threw in the towel last Thursday, resigning from the team. And last night, Coach Igor Myaskovsky said Mr. Bailey, Stephen Bailey, will be the assistant coach this weekend. The Street Cats are still looking for another assistant coach because every game they don't have 2 coaches on the bench. They will get fined. The Street Cats are 16-1 and they're heading to Berkeley tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday, a team that they swept 2 weekends ago at home. On the U circuit, the Alpena Pee-wees kicking off District 7 tournament against Mackinac yesterday. A minute into the game, the visitors from up north going between the legs, making it 1-0 Mackinac. But later in the first, Alpena has an answer. Owen Limbach going down the ice, allowing Parker Bolda to slap this one in. We are tied at 1. From there, Alpena's Cooper Black laying all sorts of ways to keep his team in the game before Kyle Van Duzen does a doozy down the ice, giving Alpena its first lead of the night. 4-1 is the final yesterday evening. The boys will be back in action tonight, or tomorrow, I guess this morning, at 11 against the Sioux. And finally, yesterday, the first group of the U.S. Olympic athletes landed in Sochi. Games begin in 7 days. 230 Americans will compete in the 15 disciplines, making this group the all-time largest that any nation has sent to the worldwide event. The United States will be represented by 105 women and 125 men. Back in 2010, the U.S. won 37 medals. Canada won the most gold with 14, and the United States had 9. So we'll see in less than a week if they'll be able to keep that going. That's it for your sports this morning. Ashley, back to you.
Thanks, Shannon. Well, temperatures warmed up for us a little bit yesterday. For a look at what we can expect today, let's go to our meteorologist, Adam Claiborne.
Okay, we are going to be noticing, as we look at this graphic right here, temperatures not too bad outside, especially when you take them in comparison to what we saw earlier this week. 10 degrees, that's above 0 here in Alpena. 10 also in Gaylord, sitting at 16 down in Tawas City, and 10 in Rogers City. Taking a look at temperatures across the rest of the nation, we're back at 1 here into Minneapolis. 30 degrees in Chicago, seeing more of the 40s a little farther off towards the south. So everybody is starting to get in on the action with the warmer air starting to spread its way on towards the north. See that we are going to be dealing with maybe some light snow showers and also some light snow flurries throughout the afternoon. Not going to be expecting much, maybe just a dusting, but this system will continue to push on towards the east end. We'll notice that this will be a recurring pattern throughout the weekend. We'll see the light snow flurries and the light snow showers with highs that will still be in the 20s, so not expecting a real Arctic air mass to push its way in after this system does push through. 12 degrees in Oscoda, sitting at 7 in Alpena, and 12 miles per hour for our current wind in Oscoda, 7 miles per hour in Hill Lake, and 7 also in Alpena. What's ahead for us today? We'll see the partly cloudy and cool conditions during the morning. Light snow and light snow flurries throughout the afternoon, and then even on in 2 hours tonight. We'll be expecting those flurries to linger on. But by the time we do head into tomorrow, this area's low pressure pushes off towards the east. We'll be seeing that possibly more of the snow flurries come back in, and it's going to be a very small chance, right around 20 to 30%. And looking at Futurecast, this system pushes off towards the south. Most of the moisture at least does, and we'll continue to see most of the area right along the western shores of lower Michigan see the lake effect snow showers, while we'll just be having small opportunities for the snow. And then it starts to get cooler as we head into next week, with highs pushing back down, not in the single digits, just only in the teens. But for our day planner today, still in the 20s, at high of 22 here in Alpena, falling back down in the single digits by tonight. We'll have a low of 5 degrees, northwest winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour, and our extended outlook highs will still be in the 20s Sunday and Monday, but cooler air does start to arrive by Monday with the passage of that cold front, and that will push us back down in the teens for Tuesday and Wednesday, with snow showers becoming a possibility again, right around a 30 to 20% chance, and lows will be right around 0.
Thank you, Adam. Well, coming up next on WBKB Early Morning, passengers on board another cruise ship are sick after an outbreak of a stomach virus. Good morning and welcome back. I'm Ashley Reed. In national news, passengers on board another cruise ship are recovering from an outbreak of a stomach illness. They're now in Texas waiting to get off a Princess cruise ship. CBS's Co-Im has the latest.
The Caribbean Princess is back at its Houston, Texas port more than a day early. Some of the people on board are sick after an outbreak of the norovirus. But a Princess Cruises spokesperson says the ship ended its 7-day trip ahead of schedule because of weather, not because of the sickness. 2 days into the voyage, some of the more than 4,000 on board started getting sick. The company confirms more than 170 passengers and crew members suffered from diarrhea and vomiting.
Once you hear something like that is on an enclosed space, you're nervous that, gosh, I can't touch anything. There's, of course, we've had hand sanitizer all over the boat.
The highly contagious but short-lived norovirus is suspected in another outbreak on board a Royal Caribbean ship. The Explorer of the Seas returned to New Jersey on Wednesday, earlier than expected. More than 600 people fell violently ill.
I was on the floor. I was just laying down. I was so sick.
The Explorer of the Seas got a top-to-bottom cleaning and is ready for its next voyage. Today, a crew from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention will board the Caribbean Princess to sanitize the ship before it floats away on its next trip this weekend. Co-Im, CBS News.
Passengers on the Caribbean Princess spent the night on the ship so they could be cleared by customs. They're expected to disembark later this morning. Princess Cruises says it will offer a 20% credit to passengers toward a future cruise in a 1-day per diem. We are going to take one last look at weather. Adam?
Okay, thank you. 10 degrees, mostly cloudy conditions. South winds are at 6 miles per hour. It's kind of cool out there, but if we just think back about a few days ago, you remember that it was bone-chilling cold, and we saw wind chills that were right around maybe 15 to 25 degrees below zero. Things have definitely changed since earlier this week, and we are looking at our satellite and radar. Still noticing some snow into the region. We'll continue to see that snow showers, light snow showers, flurries will push in and out during the day. Not expecting much of it, maybe just a dusting, if that, but that will all continue to push on towards the east and maybe linger on by tonight. But temperatures, they'll still be in the 20s for afternoon highs, 22 for us in Alpena, seeing the snow starting to move in during the afternoon, and then by tonight, here comes another cool night. Highs or lows will be in the upper single digits for us, and even as we head into the weekend, things don't really cool off. We'll be expecting highs still in the 20s, maybe even the middle 20s by Sunday's forecast, and then later on next week, that's when cool air starts to arrive and we'll fall back down in the teens.
Thanks again, Adam. Well, that's all we have for you today on WBKB Early Morning. Thanks for watching. Good Morning America is up next.